Okay, I need help from people. I picked this up in an inexpensive lot of watches. Hang on a sec. Okay, so Swiss made, this is an NSA. NSA made a ton of bracelets. Some, I think, specifically for certain models. Some were just like unbranded, like this one was. It's got a slidey spring clasp. It says 1129 on the side. Swiss made. It's got a whole bunch of little overcurled links and then two big overcurled links. These are, I think those are 9mm or 10mm ends. Where is that thing? Ah, I found it. Now let me just put my battery in. Trying to save batteries. Come on. There we go. So let's. I was right. 10mm centers. Does anybody know, was this specific pattern used for any particular watch model? Were these seen on one or another? Anybody has any information about this, please let me know. Technically, it is Saturday. But I started this video when it was still Friday. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Do I have to go like this? Do I have to go like that? I have to go more like this. Oh, I see the frickin' chairs in the way. Oh well. I'm going to be kind of looking like I'm looking over your shoulder. There's no one behind you. Everything is fine. Maybe if I put that over there. I don't know. Let's try it. Hello? Hello? Almost there? It's the frickin' chair. Alright, it doesn't matter. Again, I might be looking over your shoulder. Ignore me. Man, it's been a long day. God, it's been a long week. Just like last couple of weeks. It's just nuts. Man, I'm getting... Holy cow, am I getting buried with emails and communications. It's like last couple of weeks, people like the news percolated through, and I'm just getting buried and buried and buried. Like it's to the point that I'm like avoidant. Like, oh shoot, I gotta go on Instagram. It's gonna be a million billion messages. And there were like, I don't know, 40 something on top of the 68 or 69 emails. So if you've emailed me and you haven't heard from me, it's not personal. Okay, so it's pretty late. It is 12:30 on the nose on Saturday. Well, you know, speaking of looking at watches, let's do a wrist check. Okay, wrist check. Well, I've got two watches going on here. Two chronographs, and I need to check the time on that one. Hang on a second. I have been wearing this. I've had the parts for this forever. Like, I over the years, as parts would come by, I would see if I can get some better light on this thing. As parts would come in randomly, orphaned parts, I would put them away. It literally has been 6 or 7 years. So anyway, I had the black one. It was a little too formal for me. I liked the blue, this beautiful, beautiful sort of dusty midnight blue with the yellow. I think that the blue and the yellow together look great. Really nice. I have the bracelet, but I don't have the correct end links for it. and the bracelet is the correct one with the little ears on the end piece, and it goes with the original end links. But unfortunately, Jonathan Koch, because back then these things weren't worth anything, he cut up the end links to try to make them into a flat bar. And I have them, but damn. Then here's this other one. I've been wearing this one. I just built this. I used to say, I used to believe, actually, that I would never own one of these, never mind one in this kind of condition, because they normally look pretty beat up. This is a Seiko 70165020 chronograph from Dynie. You'll notice this one has Portuguese English day wheel, and there's the you can still see it because it is midnight. It is not yet midnight. It is still Friday. It's cool. I haven't quite figured it out. This might be one of these watches that may, you know, also the scratches here, I don't know about that. This might be one of those watches that maybe it should be on a different bracelet. I don't know. I've never played with one of these. Yeah, these, like the hands, all the hands, both subdials and the main sweep, those are NOS. I got those from Stephen Radimsky a long time ago. It's a nice watch. My God, it runs beautifully. It cruises in like the 700s, not 700s. It cruises in like the 270s, 280s easily. Just flat and beautiful accuracy. I have to clean up the minute hand. I think it'll look better when I get that taken care of. These hands are just so hard to find. It's ridiculous. I have a couple sets I'm working to clean up. But anyway. Mr. James Duffy of the Sandwich Time channel. Hi, Spencer. I sent a few questions on Instagram in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, man, I'm so sorry. I would go to Instagram and I'd be like, I just felt like I had to like duck in and grab my mail and like get out, and like the box was stuffed. And man, I'm not sure if you read them. No, I have now. I love all this GMT talk. I agree with Saul Brooks' take on the term GMT for what is the general catch-all for any dual time complication. It only sounds like an accurate term if the fourth time-keeping hand can be set to the time in Greenwich, or if the hand is slaved to the hour hand, and the wearer lives along the prime meridian. I don't know. Then again, I'm not surprised when I see Eurocentric ideas, not making a woke comment, but recognizing how the watch industry as we know it has its roots in Europe, and how English and French are the predominant languages of that industry. And thanks for another great mail call. Well, thanks for a great question. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that I haven't delved a whole lot into. Like, I love the slide rule pilot watches. They're all buried. Who cares? But I can't read them. Well, one, I literally can't read them. But even if I could, reading a slide rule is no easy feat. My dad said that his first semester at UVM in the 50s was just how to use your slide rule. Okay, so anyway, speaking of GMT, I actually filmed a segment. Okay, so, I mean, we're getting into a war of semantics? I don't know. Anyway, you guys tell me if this thing is a GMT, because I don't know. Okay, it had run down, it had stopped. So it says, there we are, 1,000 hours. So yeah, you see, there it is. It's definitely slaved to that main hand. Let's see if it clicks over. Look at that. Clicks over a few minutes early. Cool. So let's go to 10 a.m. There's 10 a.m. and then you can jump it like so. And that's how you do the date. So it goes, and of course, this thing has this manually rotating calculatory bezel diddly thing. So, Saul, tell me, is this what you're talking about? Is that like the real deal in terms of what you thought didn't exist but should? Okay, thank you. This is a comment from Todd S. This is on a video about one of the new jobs, an unrestored 6139 gold 6002. Beautiful watch cosmetically. I bet that you wish all these rebuild candidates were in such excellent shape. This makes your job a lot easier. The watch will turn out great. I hope so. I've had some shocks though. I've had some shocks with watches that are, you know, that looked great, and I got into them and I remember some that had just been like really monkeyed with on the inside. I remember one, it had been, the chronograph wheel had died, and then it had been sent into Seiko for service, and then Seiko had destroyed the chronograph wheel and cracked the jewel for the chronograph wheel pinion in the chronograph bridge. You know, the only time I can guarantee that something is going to be really, really awful is if I see rust inside. If I see rust inside. The movement that's in this watch here, it was one that I got a long time ago. The watch had been water damaged, and the customer, I send everything back. Everything that's done gets sent back. But we struck a deal for the old movement, so I kind of traded the old movement. It's been sitting in a box forever. Ever and ever and ever, 7 years, 8 years. And I finally got around to pulling it apart, and I didn't think the water damage was that bad. There was a little bit of rust like around like the pillar wheel, you know, and on the operating, you know, on the levers and that kind of stuff. It was wrecked inside. Whoa, my God, it was wrecked. Eventually, I think it got to the point when I got down to the train and all of the train gears were bad, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to save the chronograph wheel. I was able to. I just said screw it, and I went and got another donor movement. I hadn't even gotten into the calendar, and it was so bad. So I just punted, and I got the front half of a good movement that was already previously stripped from some other watchmaker, and I put it together, and here you go. There's your hybrid. So we'll see. Inspector. Hi, what's your opinion about Doxa watches? I don't really have one. I've never owned one. I've never held one. I know about them. I know that they were one of the first. They were one of the first, or the first, to have an orange watch dial and dive watches. They came up with like the high visibility hand shapes, the big blocky squares and stuff. Other than that, I really don't know much about them. I couldn't say a thing about their movement. I don't know if they're in-house or if they just buy an already made one or anything. So I'm the wrong person to ask. Ooh, 2 comments about the dates on 7548s. Watchnut. My 7548 7000 Seiko Quartz is from February 1978. That's pretty early. Nielsen Gupta. Hi, Spencer. My 7548 7000F is March 1978. Wow, you guys should... I wonder how close you're for fun, I went and dug through my supplies looking for things, and just to get an average feel for the dates I've got for these case backs. So we've got, let's see, yeah, 1981, real prevalent. Okay, well, look at that. May 81. Oh, isn't that interesting? Look at the angle. It's got a much sharper, more pronounced angle on that one versus this one, which is 1980, March 1980. So this one would have been made then. And they both carry the SUA symbol. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so then we look at this one, which just came in from Japan, November 1980. It's almost 1981, getting there. And let's see what's up with this one. Ooh, Japan, A, Sua, 78, 78, March 78. So I'm not anywhere near the front of the line, but the 16th one of these made in March of 78, that's not bad. It's not bad. Look at that, all the lume is gone. Oh, look at that, the click ball's gone. Threads look good on the crown tube. Doesn't look like it ever got messed with. Somebody was having trouble getting the bezel off. I swear to hand to God, it wasn't me. I should build a movement and put this thing together. I don't know what to do about lume on the dial, though, because look, all the lume's gone. Anyway, cool. My question for the next mail call is, what are the technical reasons that a chronograph wheel for the 6139 cannot be recreated from scratch, i.e. the sections recreated and put together? Is that impossible? Oh, nothing's impossible. Probably a very dumb question. No, it's not. It seems like something that you could say, well, why don't we just make them again? But then when we look at them, then you're like, okay, and I made a segment. So, for those of you in the know, 6139 and 6138, both of these vertical column chronographs, they have a clutch. So the clutch is built into a quite complex part called the chronograph wheel. That's these little fellers here, and I've got the good ones and the bad ones. Look at them all. My hope is that, a lot of these hopefully can be fixed someday. It's absolutely perfectly normal and correct to be a watchmaker and have a billion tons of parts that you can't get rid of, just in case you figure out how to fix them someday. So the deal is with these, I'm trying to think if I've even got one that's like in pieces, because even broken ones I don't dare break. They're exceedingly complex. This is one of these things where they're so complex and there's so much going on that it's just, I don't know how it'd be possible. You have a bunch of different types. There's multiple different kinds. I think between Danny and Sua, there's like a bunch of different ones. Sua, of course, has 3, 888-610, 888-611, 888-612. Then those are respectively 6139A, 6138A and B, and 6139B. But they're just, they're made up of this stack, darn it. They're made up of sort of this stack of stuff. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this and you know what I'm talking about. So you've got all these little pieces. I mean, what are we seeing there? You've got the stem, that's one. You have this gear there, that's 2. You have the brass 4th wheel section, it's 3. You have upper plate, lower plate, spring, 6. You have the cam, 7. You have the washer and the little keeper washer on the top, that's 9. This screw, that's 10. And there's probably spacers and stuff in there. So you're going to need you have 10 different parts for just one of these to redo. If you take this one, the most common one, but you're still going to have all this stuff reverse engineered by somebody, and every single one of these is going to have to be modeled. I don't know if there's a fast way to do it, but then you really start getting into the real problems, which is who in the heck has this kind of machinery? Who has this kind of like fine machinery to be able to do this work? I mean, I guess if you had the scans and you were willing to contract with a company overseas, but man, your numbers better be perfect. I mean, like right here, you can't really see that right there, that little flash. That section right there, that's flat, just on that side. That's the key. That's keyed in there. So for the main sweep, it deforms to fit that. This is just one of, I don't even know how many details go into making something like this. The only other thing I ever thought, though, is do we have the capability as a people to basically create something that will work for this, but with fewer parts and more reliably? So that's maybe the thing to think about. Think about something that is, well, I don't know what it could be, but just doing this one, I can't even imagine how much it would cost to have these recreated. I haven't the foggiest idea. 5 figures? More? I don't know, to have these recreated. I haven't the foggiest. Now, if Seiko had the tooling still, and they were willing to give it up, then that'd be great. I bet they do, because remember, they had all the tooling for to make the 4S15 movement. And they had, because that previously had been what, the 5200 movement or something like that. And they recreated it and the parts swapped back and forth. I mean, I'd be shocked if they didn't keep the tooling for this stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe they didn't. I wish they did. Man, I wish I had the tooling. Of course, I don't have any machines and I can't assemble this stuff, but, well, I can, but I'd have to do it one by one. Ooh, each one would be custom made. Yeah, one of these days we're going to get better at taking these things apart, and I'll be able to fix some of these. So I've made a point of keeping every one I can get my hands on. Martin McGuire. Good chat, Spencer. Thank you. Always enjoy your work and it's much appreciated. I very, very much appreciate the kind words and the support. I really honestly do. Gosh, I look like my dad. Wow. I have a question. I have my Seiko SKX009 from 1995, never serviced but running very well. I was 95, man, that's a really early one. Wow, that's an earlier one. Isn't that an early one? I was just thinking of replacing the gaskets as they must be getting to a point where they might fail. My question is, does the crown have a hidden gasket inside the crown as well as the stem gasket? I filmed a segment for you. So about these crowns, I was about to just make an answer, and I'm like, I wanted to check just to make sure. No, it's got the threading on the inside of the crown, but there's no, like, you know, twin locks sealed down in the base. Well, I mean, one could, in theory, the case. I mean, the SKX cases, they have they have a flat surface on the screw down. Hang on a sec. Oh gosh, am I gonna have to dig around? No. I can't find it. Did I put that somewhere weird? Oh, well, I guess I'll look at this. How about this? 7002. There we go. Yeah, baby. Okay. 7002 has the same crown setup as an SKX. So you see that's actually, it's pretty flat in there. I mean, if you had a flat, you know, flat ring washer that dropped right in there, I think you could do it. Let me try this one. That I think looks more correct. Though, of course, I could be wrong. Oh, no, that's it. I don't know. Wouldn't that be interesting? I guess I just don't know what kind of clearance is in there. It's possible. you could try converting one to twin lock and see how it goes. So we've got 2 comments here about trying to get rubber to be squishy again. Graham Cotter. Hi Spencer, I've been checking forums, auto forums, and they say wintergreen oil, IP alcohol, 1/3 mix for rubber. Wait. Wintergreen oil / IP alcohol, 1/3 mix for rubber. Google it. I have it on order. Hard to get in Ireland. I'm going to try it in original 2205 waffle. Gone solid. Love the show. Wintergreen oil, IP, 1/3 mix for rubber. If you could confirm those ingredients, please let me know. I wonder why wintergreen oil. They wanted you to be, fresh. Next one, Dr. Toboggan. Nothing like a toboggan. I've had success with dry gaskets and seals, automotive, with silicone aerosol spray. As you spray the rubber, it absorbs and becomes soft again. Well, I remember once, long time ago, I had a 68 Dodge Dart, and I needed to top up the brake fluid, and I put the wrong one in, and the rubber just went and just expanded. It was crazy. And I was sitting there trying to get the cap of the thing back on. That was silly. It's silicone aerosol spray. Is that like Camp Dry? Camp Dry I have. I don't know if I have silicone spray. I don't know. Why would silicone aerosol spray penetrate rubber? I'd be curious to know about that. I'm not saying this is wrong. I'd like to know more. Next question. JC. I've had humidity ruin a 7548. I was in southern Colorado near Alamosa, and we went into the alligator zoo there. It was partially inside a greenhouse with near 100% humidity. The lume was gray in a couple of hours. I think the thin air contributed too, as it's above 7,000 feet. Probably went right past the old crown gaskets. I was horrified. For what it's worth, in the Fort... change of subject. For what it's worth, in the Fort Sam PX San Antonio, they have a watch repair shop. Remember last week we were talking about whether or not you could get, whether that service mark PX-70 was from a PX. Jewelry repair, but they also fully service watches. It's definitely possible that the watch was serviced at a PX decades ago. Huh. Cool. If you ever go there again, ask them what their stamp is. Okay. Christopher Shea. And about how much would that airman cost? I have no idea. I don't know what they're worth. It's far too nice of a watch. Way too nice of a watch for what they command, for what people ask for them. I don't know. A couple of $100? I have no idea. It's so much crazy watch for the money. These days, these are so inexpensive. These Glycines, when they got bought by Invicta, and Invicta just pulled the plug on Amazon, I remember the day. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, look what's going on Amazon!" It's 75% off the entire line. And a lot of watches were sold that day, I'm quite sure. Anyway, it's a good watch. I appreciate it no more. I put it away for a long time, but I appreciate it. Let's see. Nope. Forbin Colossus at 2259. Spencer, please explain what base metal really is. I've seen it stamped on case backs forever. Modernly, it seems to have been replaced with stainless steel, which sounds better to me. Yeah, base metal back in the day, and I don't know why there was this huge prevalence in using base metal. And it wasn't just watches. I mean, my parents' wedding silver, if you want to call it that, was plated over this weird base metal. Might have been copper. What those things are, it's a kind of, if I remember correctly, it's a kind of bronze, I believe, but bronze is subject to bronze death, and it can just go away. It's not bronze, but it's like those things like tin and nickel and copper and all that kind of stuff. It's just my dad used to call it pot metal, just like the cheap metal you get, the old cheap toys, right? From back in the day, just pot metal, just nothing to it. No, not designed to last, no structural strength. I mean, I suppose they still make, you get sort of a high-end, toy car. Those things are, again, there's some kind of pot metal. They rust, like, they corrode almost like they're magnesium. Those other ones, I remember the ones I found. Let's see, what am I doing? There we go. Oh, yeah. Hi, Spencer. This is Steve Gavin. Hi, Spencer. If vintage lume reacts to humidity, how about a dehumidifier box before you put the case back on, or an environmental control in your assembly area? Yeah. Actually, I have a video for this. Yeah, let's do that. The nice thing about humidity here is there kind of isn't any. Colorado is desert, high desert plains. It's semi-arid. It's darn near a desert, especially these days, because I mean we're in a 1,200-year drought right now. But so what that means is on my end, I don't really have to worry about humidity or any of that kind of stuff. Like in summer, we hang our laundry. Well, I should say we. When was the last time I hung laundry? But Sabrina, when she hangs laundry, you can put out a wet towel straight out of the washing machine on a good day in Colorado, and it'll be dry in 45 minutes. So I don't have to worry about it here. The problem is when you go to a humid environment and you get the cycles into the air conditioning, out of the air conditioning, into the water, out of the water. Everything's going like this, up and down. Like this watch, I have not serviced this yet. This is original. It's got its original gaskets and everything. If I took this thing, somewhere hot, humid, that white lume would probably be doomed. Because goodness knows I've seen it happen. So yeah, make sure that all the seals are good and that we're going to be able to preserve this one. I don't know, man. I really like this one. I don't know. We'll see. I'd love to be able to let it, adventure and everything else, and travel. I just don't want to mess it up. But you know what? I'll do all the seals and I'll let it live. We'll see how it does. Watch Nut. Hi, Spencer. Hello, Watch Nut. I have a 6190 to 8140, and the minute and hour hands have some tarnish. Would a set of 6139 6002 hour and minute hands fit, as they look identical? Yeah, they're basically exactly the same thing. Though if you have a good set of hands for a 6139 and they're in a 6139, maybe the rest of the watch is good. But yeah, no, they're the same. And those hands, that handset, actually, I always think of them as 6139 hands, but they're not. They were on earlier watches like your watch from like 68. And so they actually started on these sport divers. Let's see. Ooh, one last question. Jim McClory. Hi, Spencer. What tools do you use to wind the mainspring? I have a couple of 7009s and a 7S26 I would like to restore. Kind regards, Jim McClory. I made a little video for you, and let me put that up. I like using old stuff, especially old tools would be made with greater precision generally. I mean, there's obviously exceptions, but a lot of these old tools are really helpful. This is Watchcraft. CE Marshall Company. You can see it's a range of sizes. These are cool. The only reason I don't ever use these is that the locking pins that are supposed to lock in there, they're too worn, and they just it all just slips. Everything slips. It's too bad. I mean, if I ever wanted to take time, I could probably drill these things out and put new pins in there, but I'm sure there's other ways to do it too. So, but I tend to not use these other sizes, mostly because I'm not a generalist. I'm pretty specially, specified on what I work on. So this is what I use almost all the time. I also have a range of sizes of these, but this is the one that works the best for me. This is, these are K and D, yeah, or these Vigor. Nope, they're K and D. K and D. And they're beautifully made, the best of American-made stuff. Really nice. You can adjust the size of how much you compress the spring to adjust for different size barrels. It's intuitive to use. You hold things down like this and turn and hold and turn and hold and turn and hold and turn and hold. Once you get the knowing of it, you get pretty good with it. I don't know. I have a lot of good things to say about this one. Perhaps there are, other models out there that are better, but for this, for me, it works. That's it, folks. Happy Saturday. I've got to go to bed because I'm going to have to go to bed. Get up for real tomorrow. Anyway, but I wanted to make the video. So I did a lot of these segments before. I'll piece it together and relax and knock off, and that'll be the end of that. Yeah, I like this watch. Funny, because I put it away because I was like, and then I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, hey, that's a pretty decent watch. And I used to think of it as being too big, but this looks pretty good. I wish the strap wasn't quite so hard. I wish I had a little more give to it, but it's like really, really tight. Well, whatever. Okay, folks, have a great weekend. About Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars is silly, and there's a lot of things about Star Wars that annoy the heck out of me. I wish it still sort of feels half-baked to me, even, like coming on, 50 years later, it still feels a little funky. But there's a lot of good stuff in it too, and when Star Wars is really good, it just redeems itself. And some of the best stuff come in unlikely places. The season 7 of Rebels, the season 7 4 arc episode ender, those last 4 episodes, wow. Legitimately one of the greatest Star Wars moments I'm aware of. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, Kenobi show's coming up, and I am just really excited about all the people that could still be around. And there was a list someone made on Reddit, on the Star Wars subreddit, talking about all the characters who were still alive at the time of the Obi-Wan show coming, with their relative ages. Vader is 32. 32 years old. Vader. Might as well be an intern. But anyway, a lot of those people are still around. But I noticed that nobody put Mace Windu on the list. There's still no confirmation that he's dead. He was a master Jedi, and he got one hand cut off. So he could come back. And can you imagine if Mace Windu is alive and he finds out that Anakin Skywalker had a son by Padme Amidala, which probably is beside the point. Mace would stop at nothing to execute Anakin's child. Nothing. So that'd be a twist, wouldn't it? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. All right, that's it. Bye.